Hi, folks. I am Dr. Kristen with Abbey Research, and welcome to this edition of Abbey Research Reads. Today, we're going to be talking about absolutely one of the best books I've read in the last 5 years, which is Burnout: The Secret of Unlocking the Stress Cycle by Emily and Amelia Nagoski. You can see I have some feelings about this book. The premise of it is that the real issue with a burnout and kind of that emotional exhaustion of like, I'm done, I can't do this anymore, that especially women in particular feel in the West. This is a really women-focused, Western woman-focused research data, I will admit, is not necessarily because stress is bad. In fact, like there are whole systems, biological systems in our body built to address stress. The issue is that we don't allow those systems to actually work. So, for example, when you hit, a trauma of some fashion that would reactivate your fight, flight, or freeze, biologically, that event is supposed to end. And we're supposed to do something that tells our body that that ends, which usually means moving our body. So you would move from the place where you were stressed. You would run to deal with flight. You would, kind of have to physically move your endocrine system and signal to your body that the event was over. Well, one of the issues with modern life is that we don't actually ever really move to signal that the event is over, because for a lot of us, the event never really ends. And moving is a much different conversation now than it was kind of biologically and sociologically, like than it was in the Middle Ages, for instance. I don't have to walk more than about 50 steps a day if I don't want to. And that's certainly not true for anyone who was living like in 1250. So it's a little bit different. And our bodies have evolved for sure, but not like that much. And so what we need to do when we're stressed is what the Nagoski sisters tell us is finish the cycle. So the issue is not, again, that you are stressed. The issue is that you are not finishing the cycle and you are not telling your body to release the stress hormones and be done with them. The issue is that you are holding on to the stress, not that the stress exists. So when you are feeling really overwhelmed or emotional and somebody tells you you just need to cut stress out of your life, that's actually terrible advice because most of us can't. There's not an option. Or the choices that we have made that we really, really like have resulted in this stress. And so why are we even talking about getting rid of it? I love my job. I love my family. I love working in my family company. I love being the second generation of this legacy that my father has created and that my brother and I get to have together to work through. But being a second generation owner is incredibly stressful. Being a COO is incredibly stressful. Being a COO who's never been to business school is incredibly stressful. Getting rid of that stress is not possible. What do you want me to do? Quit my job, quit my family, quit half my identity? No. What I need to do is learn to finish the stress cycle. There are lots of things every day in my life that are both big picture macro stress and small micro event stress. We had a few too many office workers call out sick one day, and my entire schedule was thrown because all of a sudden I had to make sure that somebody was answering the phones. And that was a stressful day because the to-do list I had for that day did not involve paying attention to the phone at all, for instance. But that's part of ownership. And that's part of my stress. So instead of getting pissy and angry that I had this stress, I just did what I learned from this book, which was end the stress cycle and move my body. So at the end of the day, I took multiple walks around the plant, around our factory, around our property, and then I went home and walked again. I got an under-the-desk elliptical machine called QB, by the way, which is a really great solution for those of us that don't always have physical time to move during the day. You can't get up from your desk or you're running from meeting to meeting. This is a really kind of innovative, simple way to maybe move your body and break the cycle during a work day. But that's the core of this book. There's a whole lot else in it. I adore this thing. I've read it twice because I needed reminders and I've needed to kind of break in. There's a lot of really excellent stuff about the science of the patriarchy, which sounds crazy, but it's really worth your time. There's a lot of unpacking of the specific biological reactions that we have to culturally structured gender norms and how we have to be aware of those things. So again, Burnout, The Secret to Unlocking the Stress Cycle. I'm told that the audiobook is great too. My friend Cheryl prefers audiobooks to real books, audiobooks to paper books or visual books. Every book is real. So I'm told the audio is great. Get it from your local independent bookstore. Ask them to order it for you. Buy a copy for every single human you know. Like I said, cannot recommend it highly enough. They are scientists, essentially, and they bring the data to our emotions. And for all of us who are feeling frequently overwhelmed by our emotions, I don't know how many of us don't feel that way in these times, having the science of your body is a really helpful tool to fight your brain. So A++, 1,000 gold stars. Thank you, Dr. Nagoski. And I believe both of them are doctors. Yeah, doctors of art. So thank you, and music. Thank you, the doctors Nagoski, for your incredible work. And we encourage you guys all to read it. That's all for Abbey Research Reads. We'll see you guys next time.